and you want to envision yourself owning it. What's happening, everybody? I wanted to hop on here this week, no drone footage or anything like that, and talk to you about something that I feel like is top of mind for many people right now. I feel like every call and email starts with, I know people are struggling right now, I know it's a hard time, etc. And I've been having a lot of conversations with people close to me and people in my life about these subjects, and the subject being anxiety, fear, stress, maybe those leading to panic attacks. And specifically, I think we're talking about them more and maybe noticing them more because we're having less social interaction during this time. And maybe when you do get on the Zoom call, or you do go to the grocery store, or you do have a social experience, they're extra hard for us right now. I've heard a lot of people talking about these things, and I have something that I think maybe you probably have never heard before around this, and I wanted to share my experience and what has helped me, and a tool that I use not only for anxiety and fear, but goals or any kind of limitation in my life that I think is super powerful. And before I jump in, I just want to say, I'm not downplaying anybody's experience with anxiety or panic attacks, and my terminology may be a little bit different than you. I'm not a therapist, I'm not any professional here. I'm just sharing my experience. So my definition of anxiety and panic attacks and fear may differ from yours, so bear with me on that. So first, what I think I'm focusing on really when I'm talking here is what is kind of defined as social anxiety. I'm not particularly talking about anxiety when you're at home on the couch or anything like that. I'm talking about anxiety and fear and panic attacks during social interactions. At least in my experience and conversations I have with people, panic attacks and anxiety doesn't generally occur when you're comfortable at home on the couch with your dog, watching your favorite Netflix show. To me, most people battle with it when they hop on the Zoom call, or they go to the grocery store, or they're walking down the hallway at school, or they're on stage giving the speech, or whatever it may be. So that's really what I'm focusing on here is social interaction and social anxiety. Before I kind of get into my tool and tip on this front, basically I want to explain that there's two minds, right? There's the mind that we think with and we go about our day with, and then there's the subconscious mind, which is the supercomputer, right? Your subconscious mind is like big data. It remembers every single experience, every single interaction your entire life. From the second you're born to the second you die, it remembers everything, right? And maybe, back when you were 10 years old, you fell on your face in gym class in front of your classmates. Maybe when you were 12 years old, you forgot the lines to the play and all your classmates and maybe people in the audience laughed at you or chuckled, right? Or maybe it's something more recent in your adult life where you were on that Zoom call giving the presentation and you just had that anxiety come over you, that fear come over you, and you were just handcuffed and you couldn't talk and you couldn't get through it, and it was just a horrible experience. Your subconscious mind remembers all of these, right? And the more times you have those experiences and the more times they happen, right, your body responds, it wants to do with what's familiar to it, right? This is the same reason why taking new actions and taking new steps and changing habits are so hard, because your body wants to do what's familiar. So when you step into those situations, when you step into the Zoom call, or you step into whatever that triggering event is for you, right? Why people get that experience of it just overcomes you, no, you don't understand. No matter how much I told myself to calm down, no matter how many deep breaths I took, it just overtook me. There was nothing I could do about it. In my opinion, that is the subconscious mind that is conditioned to respond a certain way in those environments based on your past life experiences and how you've responded to them in the past. To me, to kind of nip anxiety in the butt and nip fear and maybe those leading to panic attacks, to better live with those or overcome them, you have to reprogram your subconscious. This is kind of the tip and what I wanted to share with you and what I think is so cool. And if you follow people like Dr. Joe Dispenza, who is with science proving that this is the case, that we can reprogram kind of that software program running in the background to allow your body to respond in a different way in certain scenarios, those triggering scenarios. So how do we do this, right? I'll step back for a second here. Basically, your mind, right, does not know the difference between a physical experience in your everyday life and a visualized experience. So I'll say that again. Your mind does not know the difference between you going outside and walking your dog, actually doing it, and you closing your eyes and envisioning yourself going out and walking the dog. To your brain, it's the same exact thing. So we can lay down or we can sit down or whatever and close our eyes, or however you like to kind of meditate. And if you are not familiar with meditation, maybe do a little research, watch some more videos on that. But it's not rocket science. You know, we're laying down, we're sitting down, we're closing our eyes, and maybe 10, 15 minutes later, you're in that kind of place where the noise and all the thoughts kind of fade away, and you're in that creative space. And you want to envision yourself, once you are in that place, you want to envision yourself, right, on that Zoom call. You want to envision yourself at the grocery store. You want to envision yourself walking down the hallway at school. You want to envision yourself giving the speech, and you want to envision yourself owning it. You want to envision yourself having no fear, no panic. You want to feel what it feels like as you're visualizing that, to go through those situations with none of those things that plague you, like feeling rock solid, feeling confident, feeling amazing. You want to envision yourself getting up from the Zoom call, from your chair, and pumping your chest and being like, I own that, I rock that, right? And you want to do that every day or as often as you can. And what's going to happen over time is you are going to start to reprogram the subconscious mind. And now when you step into those situations in your life, that thing that overcame you, right, it's going to overcome you in a different way. It's going to be familiar with a different scenario. It's going to be familiar with a different story, right? If you study high-performing athletes or you look at any of the best athletes in the world, right, they will tell you that visualization is a huge part of their success, of what they do. Whether it's Tom Brady, whether it's Conor McGregor, right? They envision themselves with the knockout punch, right? They envision themselves throwing the winning touchdown pass. They envision themselves shooting the game-winning shot. They envision themselves like, you know, putting the free kick in the back of the net to win the game. And whether they realize it or not, all they're doing is programming their body to perform a certain way in a future scenario. So when they step into that situation, when they step into that game on the line situation, right, their body is familiar with that. Their body's been there before. So their heart rate doesn't elevate. Their palms don't sweat, right? They are able to perform at the level they want to perform because their body is already familiar with it. There's no panic. There's no fear. As they say, they have ice water in their veins. We can apply those same things to these scenarios in our life that we struggle with. And that is really what I wanted to share with you and get across to you today, and something that I don't see a lot of people talking about. Again, I don't mean to downplay like the things like diet and exercise that can help, but I think the more powerful thing here is that subconscious program that's running, and we need to reprogram that to work in our favor. And kind of change the story that our body is expecting, and change what is familiar to our body when we step into those things in our life. So that is my advice. That is kind of my tip there, 10, 20, 30 minutes a day, visualization, start reprogramming that software that's running you in the background. That's what I got. I hope this helps somebody. I truly hope maybe this empowers somebody or gives somebody a real actionable takeaway. You know, it's not difficult. Anybody can do this, but it is work, right? It is a daily practice that you have to do and stick with to keep your body familiar with kind of that high performing, no fear state. Thank you. If you have been enjoying the videos, you want me to do more of these, greatly appreciate it if you subscribe, if you like, leave a comment, all that good stuff, and I will see you guys soon.